So this is where you guys, when I go over the warm-up, you want to be following along. Now your answer might be different, which is totally cool because we all have different mathematical thinking. So I'm going to kind of show you my mathematical thinking. So when I read this question, I've got the math fever. It says create 2 number sentences using the values above. Here are the values. If I get the question right, what happens, Evan?
Well, it depends on what you choose, but you get added. Like if I said factors and multiples for 250, then you'd get 250 points.
I'd get a positive value, right? If I answer it wrong, Tia, what happens? I get a negative value. So I'm adding a value. Some are negative, some are positive, depending on if it's right or wrong. Here it says using a sequence of 6 answers. So we watched that video, and you saw 6 answers. So I know I'm adding 6 values. But here's the thing about it. I know what it's going to equal in the end. It's going to equal negative 150. So, if I chose a 150-point question and I got it right, Zeke, how many points do I get? I get 150 positive points. Okay? So here I got 150 positive points. Let's say I chose a 50-point question. And, again, I got it right. Now, what's my total at? I'm at a total of 200 positive points. Where do I have to end up?
Negative 150.
Negative 150. So, if I've got a 200 here, let's say I answered a question wrong, and it was a 100-point value. So now, what's my sum?
Positive 100.
Positive 100. And then, if I answer another question, let's say I answered this one wrong, and again, it's a 100-point value.
0.
Now I'm at 0. So, now that I'm at 0, does it make this really easy?
Yeah.
Talk to your tables. What could be the values here? Go.
So 100 and then 50. Like 100. Oh, yeah.
So by going back to 0, it makes it pretty easy, doesn't it, to then figure out the last 2. Because then I can answer it wrong with a 100-point question, answer it wrong with a 50-point question. What could have been another possibility? Talk to your tables. A different answer than that one. Go. So I was listening to Wyatt. Wyatt said this. Wyatt said, hey, maybe you go for a big one. You miss it. Negative 250. But now I get a positive value. I answer a question right, so I'm ending on a good note. I still have a sum of negative 150. This is a sequence of 6 answers, just like it asks. I get a value of 150. So that could be one answer. So you do not want to be doing this. Now remember, I'm going to say it one more time to everybody. Your homework is worth literally 5 homeworks is worth 1 warm-up. You tell me which one is more valuable.
Warm-up.
Warm-up. Think about it, okay? I do it this way for a reason. Don't get caught in the trap of trying to get your homework that you didn't do at home. Stephen? Yeah? Okay, I want you to be successful. Okay. All right. So the next one, using a sequence of 5 answers. Talk to your partners how you did that one. Go.
Okay.
Don't get caught in that trap, Stephen. I'm going to keep reminding you. Don't get caught in the trap. It's a trap.
I honestly don't understand this. I did.
I just did. Ready? You should have copied down this. Boom. Okay.
minus 100 minus 50.
You work with Corbin?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so next up, this is what I'm going to ask you guys to do. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds, and I want you to put away your warm-up and exit tickets now. And you can close your book. So a number sentence is this. This is a number sentence. Right? So, I don't do it that way, Vinny. All right. Kids, I added you, Macy. I will look to see, but I added all the kids that couldn't sign into Google Classroom. I sent an invite to your Gmail. Okay, so your Gmail, Reese, your seat's back there. Okay. So I sent that to your Gmail. You should get that. Because Classroom's going to have all of this on it to help you. Next, that warm-up and exit ticket that you're doing right now, on Monday, we collect it. I do. So it's really important that when I look at it, on your Wednesday section and on your Thursday section, you have it answered. Okay, you have the warm-up answered, exit ticket, warm-up, exit ticket. So you have all weekend, if you didn't get one of those done, to get it done by using the slides. Any questions? And you can go watch this video if you want to make sure you got it right. Yeah.
Your YouTube channel?
Yeah, I fixed it. I posted the wrong one because yesterday I had a little malfunction and I posted the 15-second version.
Yeah.
I fixed it. Yeah. I didn't realize that until someone emailed me. I was like, oh, I'll fix that. Anna.
When will the video be up?
I try to get them up like literally before I leave school. Yesterday I did. I just posted the wrong one. Any other questions? Okay. So remember, guys, warm up and exit ticket, Stephen, Tuesday. When you walk in, I'm going to be collecting those. This unit's called Accentuate the Negative. The reason why I say that is when you go to the classroom, okay, I posted yesterday's video here just so you can find it easy. But if I go to the classroom and I want to go to the YouTube channel, here, it's going to be found, let me go back. Here, you can see Accentuate the Negative 2019. This is the playlist. You guys know what the playlist means?
Yeah.
That is where I'm going to put all the videos for this unit. So when you open up that playlist, it will say August 28th, August 29th, right? And then it will start with September 3rd. Is that when we come back? So I'll have like September 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. So all the videos are going to be in this playlist. That's why you need to know the name of the unit. Questions about that? I did watch the video last night, and I realized I say like way too much, as well as okay. I'm going to try not to say those words. Like, yeah, okay? So I can find a value. We talked about what a value was right here. We used it in the sentence that asked the question. This is your value. Here it's a sum. What's a sum? Wodell, what's a sum?
Like the total when you're adding?
The total when you're adding. Perfect. It is. What would be a difference? If I said find the difference. Ryan?
The total when you're subtracting.
Total when you're subtracting. So you need to know that because that's a big part of this. You want to pay attention, Stephen. Up here. Okay. So we're going to find that value. We're using positive and negative integers. Who remembers what integers are?
It's a group of whole numbers.
It's whole numbers. You got it. And they're opposites. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? All of them, 11, 12, and the negative side of them as well. Next. You guys had homework last night, so I'm going to show you an example of what would be great. Can you turn off the light for a sec? It's funny, it keeps going over here even though I go over there. It's like kind of confused, like, whoa. Maybe I need to reprogram it. Whoops. So if this was my homework last night, I have on it page 20, I have my name, so if it ends up on the ground, I know whose it is. You can see, I've numbered the problem. That's really important, so, because if I don't have this on there, I don't know what number I did. And remember, I'm going to make a mistake. You're going to have done your homework, and I didn't mark it off. Or you forgot your homework, did it, but didn't show me. If you do this, it's going to be so much easier. You won't be digging through it. You won't have to redo it because you're going to be able to find it quickly. So this is mine. And if you notice, I've got 5C down here at the bottom. And then I drew a line across. That line means this is one homework. So tonight's homework, ideally, I'm going to put it right there. I would put tonight's homework right below last night's homework. That makes it really easy. What's up?
So yesterday with the homework, I got really confused about the 5C, like where 5C was.
Mm-hmm. You'll get used to it. You'll get used to it. It's, sometimes you got to problem solve. You got to ask people for help. If majority of the time, and I'm not saying all the time, but a majority of the time, if you are really engaged in class, the homework is really simple. You notice everything we did in class yesterday, the homework was about. The day before we talked about which one's greater. What did I do? I asked a question about which one's greater. That was a warm-up from 2 days ago. Yesterday, we worked on values, of positive and negative, and finding that value. What was the homework? Same thing. So I really try to set you guys up as much as I can. Once I fill this page, I'm going to use the back side too. And then I would use a new one. So some of you had like a little piece of paper or had it on a different piece of paper. That's fine. But I'm going to give you an opportunity right now to grab line paper that have holes in it. Now there's graph paper over there, which you can use. And there's line paper with holes. So go grab like 4 or 5 sheets and put it in your homework section. That way, your homework all stays together. Jalene has already got hers dialed. Cece's dialed. Evan's dialed.
The warm-up and Excel sheet for yesterday is
On Google Slides. Yep. So, whoops, I'll show you, look. Page 20.
Oh, on mine, it was like 2 different things. So one of them was like blank of like the word.
Weird, because it's right there. You might have been looking at the wrong one maybe, I don't know. Because I just went back, look. There's yesterday the 28th. And when I go forward to the homework, there it is. So, today, once you have that paper, put that paper in your homework section. Homework section. The paper you just grabbed, yep. Put the paper in your homework section because this is the paper you want to use for your homework. And I'll get some more line paper. Please have today's notes in front of you. It's the paper you grabbed at the door. Why are you still coming in not grabbing that paper? Come on, man. Amen. All right.
I'm a failure.
I'm trying not to say like, and I'm not trying to say okay. Okay? So, we are moving ahead. This is today's notes. So when I write up here, your job, Dylan, is what? Write it down as well. Usually I post questions. Sometimes I'll have you start on the problem. This is what I call a parallel problem. It's similar to the problem that you have, that you're going to be solving in the book today. So, here I have a sequence of 4 questions. Some of them, Evan, they got correct, some of them got incorrect. We know if they get them correct, you want to write this down, it's a positive. If they get it incorrect, it is a negative. The other thing I know is that when I'm trying to find the total value, because I'm looking at that combination of positive and negative integers, here I've got positive and negative integers. They're whole numbers, so they're integers. I want to find what is the sum. You can write down that question. That means I'm finding the answer to an addition problem. I can use the number line as scaffolding to help myself create a scale and use it, which I will. But what I'm going to ask you to do first, with your table or shoulder partner, elbow partner, I want you to write a number sentence to find the total. Find the sum here. Then, independently, what would be a possible solution to this problem, thinking about the values that are on the Math Fever board. Okay, you can't create a value that's not on the board, but one that was on the board. So what would be a possible solution for this? You do independently. You do this with your partners. Ready? Go.
Okay, well, I'm done. Because it's not part of.
Oh, what is going on?
It has to be part of the 50, 150, 100.
Okay, here we go. Corbin, that's not math. So, I have a correct answer of 50. So, I move to here. So I know that's halfway in between 100. That's a plus 50, so they got that right. Then I got it wrong, and it was a 150 value. So that's 50, 100, 150. So now I'm at negative 100 for my total value. I get the next answer correct. So now I'm plussing 100. Well, that's going to bring me right back to 0. And then I missed the question for 250. So that's 50, 100, 150, 200, 250. Oh, so that brings me, that would bring me all the way to negative 250. So what I would like you guys to do is share with your partner. And my number sentence would look like this. 50 plus negative 150 plus 100 plus negative 250 equals negative 250. So this is what I'd like you to share with your partners. What are some possible solutions here? If you have one, come up with another one. Go.
Next hour.
Enrichment hour? Okay. Yep.
Thank you.
Possible solutions for this one. Ooh, keep going with that one. Finish that up. It's all right.
By the way, I still haven't finished my math test.
I know. I got you now.
Okay. 200. Wait, is that not?
Try to come up with possible solutions.
Can I go to the nearest?
Yep, go. Yep.
0 plus negative 1.
Ooh, there is no value of 0 on the math fever board. Boom. No. It's got to be, remember, you're either answering right or wrong. That's not bad thinking, Evan. I like your thinking.
No, it equals 50.
Yeah, it equals 59.
Okay, in your attention in 3, 2, 1. Possible solution, Eddie. Possible solution to this.
Negative 200
So they get it wrong. Yup.
plus a positive.
Bam. Excellent. So that's one possible solution.
C.
Okay.
I said 500.
So this is what you're going to do. With this paper, the notes, where you take your notes, we move on to the engagement piece, and I'm right on time. This is good for today. You guys are doing a good job. I appreciate it. Where you do the engagement piece is on this piece of paper. You can use the bottom, you can use the back, but number the questions that you're going to do. So, again, where do we do the work that I post up here? On the notes you take. So you can use the back, Vinny. You can use underneath, on the side. Okay? The only thing you need to do, Evan, is label what questions you're answering.
Okay.
So, everyone turn to page 9 of your textbook.
Mine?
Yeah. Hey, no, Wyatt. Move. No, Wyatt. Move back to that seat.
Can you use my shoulder button?
Corbin. Okay, guys, I've got a lot of kids making unproductive comments. Unproductive comments get you time. Okay, so up here on page 9, you can see that there's multiple. You're on page 10. On page 9, you can see there's A. Up here, I have A all. What do you think that means? You do A1, A2, and A3. Then there's B. Here I have B1A and B1B. What question do you not have to do? B1C. You want to follow along here so you understand. Then I have B3. What question did I skip? Look at your paper. B2. You don't have to do B2. I try to do my best at making sure that I give you the problems that I believe are going to have the most impact. Impact on your learning. And this is the big one. Impact on your learning, but also an impact on preparing you for the assessment. If I believe I can prepare you better for the assessment and impact your learning the most, I'm going to choose that problem. So you need to follow this. Don't just do all the work on page 9 because I'm only asking you to do certain things. Hey, Ryan, Reese, can you pause for a sec? I love that you guys want to get after the math. Just wait. check your work. So I want you to know that this is very, very different than what you guys did last year, where there'd be a problem, you would do it, and then you go over it. I do not do that. I allow you to work at your own pace. Why is that? Yeah, Ryan? Okay, good. Corbin? Why do I allow you to work at your own pace?
So you can do your best.
Okay. Caroline?
You all work in different paces?
Okay, we all work at different. Some of us are going to be faster than others, right? Some of us are going to need a little bit more time. So I want you to work at your own pace. And some of us are at different math levels. Okay, and you'll see in a couple weeks, I even diversify that even more. But right now, you work at your own pace, and this is where you check your work. Yeah, I'm going to be coming around. I don't sit back here. Hardly ever. I am out looking at your work, taking notes, trying to figure out what it is I need to do for each kid. And if there's a bunch of kids with the same issue, I try to get them all in and help them understand it. So you need to check your own work. The red line is a reminder for you to check your work. And this is where you check your work. It's hanging up right here. It has all the questions that are up there. The answers are right there. So please don't ask. You can ask me if it's right. And I'm going to ask you, have you checked? That's basically my answer. Okay? I'll go around and I'll check your thinking and I'll support your thinking and I'll do all those things. But if you're working fast, boom, check your work over there. When you get to the red line, that's what it means. You want to always read the stuff after as well, because it will give you either clues or tell you, hey, don't do all the teams, just do these two. Okay, so make sure to read the board. Any questions about engagement? Reese, we good? Where do you check your work? Bam, good. How fast do you work?
At your own pace.
At your own pace. Now, I had a kid last class ask me, or last period, he said, well, what happens if I don't finish? It depends. If you don't finish because you are disengaged, that usually means I go in your planner and I write down the math problems you need to do at home. If you don't finish because you're working at your own pace and you're being engaged, usually not a problem. I just want you to work at your pace. I'm not asking you to do something that you can't do. I'm asking you to do everything you can do. Corbin.
Where's the recycle bin?
Right there. Evan.
Stop at the red line, right?
You don't stop at the red line. The red line is a reminder for you to check your work. I had kids get to here last class. C1. Any other questions? Those are good questions. All right. This is independent work. It doesn't mean I can't ask a question. Okay? Like a question. But it is independent and you need to be focused. And I'll try to help. All right. Let's get going. I'm going to be coming around. Remember, you're going to do all your answers on your notes.
Can we get a note separate sheet of paper and pen on the rest?
On the back side, boom. You do it all on your notes page.
Oh, all on the back side of the note?
Back side of the notes, dude. Yep.
Can you get a second piece of paper?
If you fill up that one, absolutely. Yep.
Right, so you can have the back one.
Sometimes you choose A and you're B.
Oh, okay.
Thinking in your head.
A, B.
finding the difference, which means you need to find the answer to A. Boom. So Bryce is already thinking ahead. He's on A2. So I want to put your pencils down for a sec. This is only going to take 1 minute. So we know, Bryce, that when you add a negative, what is that like? Adding a negative is like subtracting a positive. These are the same, right? It doesn't matter. Like, if I see this, I can think of it as that. If I see this, I can think of it as that. They're the same thing, Stephen. Adding a negative is just like subtracting a positive. I always move to the left. I always go left on the number line. So adding a positive is like what? Subtracting a negative. Does that help you, Bryce? That these are the same. If I see this, if I'm adding a negative, I can think of it as adding a positive. I'm sorry. If I'm subtracting a negative, I can think of it as adding a positive. They are exactly the same. So if I see subtracting a negative, I always go to the right on a number line. Very good question, Bryce. This is exactly like it says which team are you reading this? So which team has the highest score? Come on. Okay, so you need to find pairs, right? That's a pair, that's a pair, and that's a pair. So yeah, finding the difference means what is the difference between this and that, meaning this minus that. Okay? Or, hold on. When you subtract a negative, what's that like? Adding a positive. So your thinking's good, right? Here I have negative 300 minus negative 500. So that's the same as negative 300 plus 500. So what would your answer be? Because it's this. What would this be? What's this like? Adding a positive. So it's exactly this. Does that make sense, Casey? Okay. Yeah. No, that's not for number one. It says use number sentences. So that means you need to show me the number sentence. You got it. Yep, that's the number sentence. Steven. Okay, so it says find the difference. What does that mean when it says find the difference? Subtract. So find the difference between the pairs. That could be a pair, that could be a pair, and that could be a pair. So you need to compare what's the difference between those two, what's the difference between those two, and then what's the difference between those two. So the only thing you need to remember, Stephen, is that when you subtract the negative, what's it like? Adding a positive. You've got to remember that piece. It's like adding 500. So then what would the answer be? 650. You got it. Okay? What?
Would it be like that? I have no idea how to write it out. Can you explain it?
Positive is always greater than negative. A negative number means I owe something. Okay? You guys, you're adding time. I already have you down for 15 minutes. Come on.
I already have 2 problems.
Then you have you down for 10. Come on.
Why do I need to eat?
Because I've already spoken to you. I've already looked over 3 times and you're just laughing. That's not math. We use all the time. I could keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Sharp. Remember, guys, to check your work. Okay? If you're wondering, I wonder if that's right, go up and check your answers. It is part of your responsibility in this room. Yep. Getting it? Okay. Yeah. What's up? Okay, so when it says find the difference, what does difference mean? Subtraction. So it says find the difference in points for each pair. That could be a pair. So if I was finding the difference between these, it would be negative 300 minus 150. Now, yeah, so here's the deal. When I subtract a positive, which direction do I go in the number line?
No, that way.
Right? Because if it was this, I would start at 8, and which way would I go?
That way.
I'll go that way. So now I'm not starting at 8, I'm starting at that number. And I'm going that way
To 150.
150 more.
So, Mr. McFarland, is that negative? Is that negative?
Negative. Yep. Dylan or Reese, check your work. Yeah, that one's right. Yeah.
Thank you.
Remember, you don't need to ask me. Just go look. Right? Just like Evan's doing. Go look. Evan, if you put it down a little bit further, Casey can look too, because all the answers are on that first page. Does that make sense? Tia? So I'm starting at negative 300. I'm subtracting 150. So I'm going 150 more into the negative. What would be, if I start at 300, Tia? If I start at 300, what would be 100 more that way? What's further from negative 400. So now I'm at negative 400. What's 50 more? Got it. That's the answer to that pair. You are. So it'd be negative 450. Right. Subtracting from. So now I'm even further from the negative. Now you're fine. So that's these two. Now do those two. Yes. Just come here. Any questions over here? What? What? It doesn't. No, once you fill this up, you'll go to this.
Hey, Mr. McCoy, does it matter which order they go in?
No.
Could I have 500 first?
You could do negative 500 minus 150. Oh, not possible. No. You're an A2. So, what does it mean to say find the difference? Good. Find the difference between pairs. Now, this is where these can be a pair, that can be a pair, and those are a pair. Okay? Kanan, that's going to be time during your... Yeah. I'm going to start... remember, I'm a really understandable guy. When I look over, now you owe me at least 15 minutes. I've looked over 3 different times, and you're just laughing. That's 5 minutes each time. That's your time, not mine. Take your math time and use it. Okay? Come on. You're a good math student. You got to practice math.
One pair on YouTube or all of the translations? I'm already on.
Good.
I'm already on F.
Good. Go. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
So you need all of the pairs that you can see, or just one pair?
All 3 pairs. That pair, that pair, that pair. It's a good question.
I might run this one.
So you're on this one? So you gotta add positive, no, negative 50. You gotta add, that's a negative 50, that's a negative 200, that's a positive 100, and that's a negative 150. Yes, to find the value, yes. That means sum. No, here, these teams. And because we didn't do this team, you just gotta do those steps. Okay? Zeke? Yes. Yep. Find the value. Bingo. Yeah. Well, I love your question. So, I know when I subtract a negative, what's that like? When I add positives, which way do I go on the number line? Boom, to the right. So if I start at negative 100 and I'm subtracting negative 200, this is like adding 200. So this would equal positive 100. Because I started at negative 100, I'm subtracting negative 200, and we know that subtracting a negative is like adding a positive. Okay, I'm going to ask you guys, go ahead. Please put away your notes quickly. Back in your classwork section. All right, guys, up here. So put this in your classwork. You got to do this quickly. Get out your planner, the weekend homework. 6 and 9, page 20. Problem 6 and problem 9. So some of us already did it. Cece's like, oh, good, my work's paying off. Already did it. So, but it is 6 and 9 on page 20. If you misunderstood last night's homework, you got this one done. This is the weekend.
So I don't have to write it down.
Save it for Tuesday. All right, 6 and 9 on page 20. Okay, today we talked about this value of combination of positive and negative. What were the values we used a lot of?
Negatives.
Okay, what else? Positives. What else? Did we have values of 50? Yeah? 100? 150, 200, 250, right? And we were adding those positive and negative numbers and creating a value. Kason, you need to be, did you write down this?
Yes.
Okay, get your exit ticket out. So exit ticket for today is write a number sentence and find the sum. What does that mean I'm going to do? Add. Here is what I'm adding. I'm adding a incorrect response for 50, an incorrect response for 200, a correct response, and another correct response. And it says write a number sentence. So you need to add up all of those numbers.
Do I need to show it to you?
You need to keep it out for right now. Yep. Why is it doing this now? Okay, you guys could look up here. Eddie, we're not going anywhere, bud. Sit down. Corbin. Kason, did you do this in your exit ticket? Already? Okay. Can you sit in your seat, though? All right. So here. What up here? There's definitely a strategy. Remember, guys, I usually don't, and I'm going to get out of the habit next week. I won't even tell you how much time you owe me. I'm just going to grab you. And then you're going to have to figure it out. And then we'll have the star conversations then. But the talking, that's non-math, dude, that's like automatic 5 minutes. Like, boom, done. Because this is math class. You can talk out there, but whatever you want. Talk at recess, talk at lunch. If you're going to talk about stuff during this class, you're going to make it up. Okay? And you'll be doing this work. Okay, next question. What is something you notice about this question? Anybody?
They're all plus signs.
That and that are opposites. This is a positive. No, that's a negative 200, and that's a positive 200. They cancel out. So now I'm only left with negative 50 plus 100. Okay, guys. See ya.